Yeah. Hello, Dr. B.
Hello, strongbear, and hello, everyone out there in our CsoundMeta group. It's nice to see you all. We have been working in our studios for the last couple of weeks, and we're happy to be back with you to answer your questions, to hopefully jam with some of you, and to talk a little bit today about kind of composing in the metaverse or in our app. I did a webinar in between, like last week, and a number of people were very excited. A number of the viewers in that webinar that we did are very excited about being able to kind of compose in the metaverse. And so I thought we might dedicate a little time today to a little bit of the thought process and a little bit of the features. But I did not tell Strongbear that I want him to do a demo of how palettes might work today. And I hope you remember.
Yeah.
I did a little palette practicing myself this morning. But just that, we have this functionality in the metaverse, in the app, where you can take an object, an orb, and try to associate with it, like put satellites around that orb, maybe sounds that either complement it or contrast, so that when you're improvising, you can basically bring up these palettes, we're calling them, and it would allow the user or the player to, choose from the sounds that you had associated with that, let's say the sun or the central orb. And so those can be very helpful when composing or even trying to structure a jam. So I thought we might even show a little bit about palettes in today's meeting as well. So, and if Strongbear wants to do that demo, that would be good. If you want me to, I can as well, because I did rehearse it and I forgot. I just dropped it on you. But since you coded it, I have a feeling you probably remember it better than me. But we haven't been making palettes lately in a long time, because we've been actually, as we were preparing for the ICMC and for that premiere, I had a lot of palettes in the composition. But I was finding that then as we were playing the piece, the musicians that I was playing with, my students and alumni, well, they were kind of having fun exploring. And it was like, no, play the main sound. So I actually went back during the composition and during all these dress rehearsals and started taking the palettes out. Like, okay, no satellites, just put the right sound for them to play with. And so I ended up, thinning out the palette capability just to make the piece more, solid in terms of its composition. There's still a lot of improvisation in it, but I think showing even our users today how to structure a jam compositionally with palettes, and then maybe how to build a composition might make for a very good session. And I hope that sounds like a good idea to you, Strongbear. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea, because so we are coming from like the way we structure like our sound, like in CsoundMeta is coming from like individual sound or instrument, and a higher one is like putting them into a palette, and then the next step is to put palettes instruments into movement. And the highest one that we have right now is like composition. So those are like a building block for compositions. Yeah, started with the palette is a good one.
Yeah, excellent. And it really is nice the way you reminded me and everyone about the logical structure and hierarchy of kind of design or organization or power. And because what we've been trying to do in some ways is build something. We have all these sounds, you can just improvise, but we're still focusing a lot on this idea of structured improvisation, or kind of composing. We're now, with all of the C sound instruments we've added into our library, um, there's a lot, and there's a lot of genres in a way represented. Some things are kind of house oriented, some things are groovy, some things are glitchy, some things are very tonal and modal, and some things are very dreamy and so it is true that if you started with something that was kind of glitchy and groovy, and then on top of that added an instrument that maybe from another genre, well, you could invent a new genre, a new hybrid, which could be exciting, but it also could ruin your piece, or could ruin your jam session. That all of a sudden you've got explosions and thunder, and you're trying to do this really mellow ambient soundscape, or you're trying to do something that's kind of jazzy and groovy, and all of a sudden you've got children, whatever. It's like I'm very wide thinking in terms of what can fit into a composition, but it is a nice way of helping us structure the improvisation and giving you a kind of composer role, even though you're really wanting everyone to have a free rein with what you hand them. But it's like, okay, let's bring out these instruments to jam with today in our sound kindergarten, or let's bring out these instruments to jam with today in our sound kindergarten, or let's let everyone just play with everything in the toy box. And so, it makes for a different kind of music, or a different kind of experience. And so we are trying to make that possible. And a lot of times, to tell you the truth, Strongbear, you didn't add this to the hierarchy, but exactly why we added the skyboxes and the worlds. And we have a whole repertoire of those that you can associate with a movement, or that you can independently associate when you're composing in the timeline, was also to kind of be suggestive. Like, okay, you're now in a forest, three-dimensional sky by me when I'm building these worlds with the help of AI. Well, those two help frame the genre. Right? And so that's kind of nice too, that when you're showing some dystopian factory, or where you're showing some underwater habitat, well, then, you're trying to find sounds that you want people to improvise with that might complement that world. And so it also adds a sense of underlying logic. And by that, I almost mean like mental logic or audience understanding. It sort of suggests subliminally or whatever, where we are, what sounds might be appropriate. And it really does help immensely in the kind of compositional process as well. So I think that even the worlds are very important in the kind of compositional framing that we're providing in CsoundMeta.
Right, because the composition in CsoundMeta is not just about sound, but also like visual. So it's like sound cinema, all right.
Yeah.
So yeah, both visual and sound aspect are really important. So yeah, how we combine them together, like in the composition, we could do that with the timeline, where we put like a video editor.
Exactly. And so that's what gives us a chance to really, frame the story, but have the story evolve over time. And that's a really cool thing. We're calling it a timeline because, as you'll see in a moment, some of you know our timeline structure, but we'll bring that up in a minute. And it does give us the capability of, having scenes change over time, having groups of sounds change over time. And so it really does let us, tell a story and very interestingly and effectively, I think. So, um, and what I know that Strongbear is working on from the composition side for all of you users ultimately is the idea that you'd be able to drop in your own library of C-sound instruments that populate the orchestra or orb world, and also, and maybe through a web interface we've been discussing or whatever, but also the ability to drop in your own samples. So we have sampling, and we've shown that in our last session a bit. We'll come back to that maybe in the next session in more detail. But the idea of dropping in your own sample library and having it stored on our server and accessed by either you or others. You'll be able to say, I'd like it to be public or private. And then the idea of dropping in your own skyboxes or worlds and making them either public or private to you as a user. Currently, the way we have it set up is if you've joined CsoundMeta, our beta test group, well, your compositions and your drafts show up for everyone in the beta test group. And so it has been exciting that one of my students, Emery, has been sprinkling in his own instruments, his own patches, and his own compositions. And also David Dow, a colleague from my earliest days of C-Sound. In 1979, we were both in Barry Verco's summer workshop together, and we got reunited through the ICMC recently and got to see each other in Boston again for the first time since 1979. But also David has been playing and composing a little bit in the metaverse and joining us a lot. And what's really interesting, and I don't know if David is here right now, but I will share this with you. I'm always trying to organize a little more, and I'm trying to convert all my old student CDs and the like because there's no CD players on anything anymore. So I'm kind of, importing them all, cloning them onto solid state drives so that I can have all my student projects from the last 40 years at Berkeley and access them and search through drafts of the C-Sound book and figures and all that. So I've been doing that in my spare time in my multitasking mode. But in the process, I've also come across some files. And in fact, I found the attendance list typed up by Barry Verco himself of the 1979 students in the workshop. And there's David Dow from his college. And, and so there he is. I've got his old home address and from 1979, Barry Verco printout of who was attending the class. And I came across that just last week. And it was like, hey, there's David. So pretty cool. And in some ways, what I'm saying in that story, behind that story is this. C-Sound as a language is built on the music and languages of Max Matthews at Bell Labs. He started writing in 1956-57, the year I was born. And those languages still all are preserved in C-Sound, which started as Music 11 in 1978-79 and became C-Sound, written in C, rewritten and then really expanded in like 1985-86. But all of that C-Sound work from the 70s and even some of Max Matthews' Music 5 and Music 1 and Music 2 pieces and instruments have all been converted into C-Sound, but they're all part of this lineage and they all still run. And so my pieces from the 70s are still running on Raspberry Pis and on Android phones and, whatever new technology we have on little Daisy seeds and Daisy pods and ARM processors. And so it is really kind of nice to know that I don't need to bring out an old CD burner, bring out an old computer that's 20 years old, put the CDs in, make sure they convert, make sure it recognizes the hard drive because it doesn't recognize half of my hard drives, and spend a month converting everything so I can still look at it. And even then, I'm happy I can. CSound just runs. Those pieces still run. We have a foundational principle, a prime directive, which is do not break anything. You can improve it. And by the way, we're weeks away from the release of CSound 7, which is mind-blowing in all of its new functionality, capabilities, efficiency, and speed. It's unbelievable how much faster it is, how much cleaner it is, how much more it has a kind of modern programming style to it. Incredible. And a lot of new features. And so that's coming. They're releasing, the betas have been released just like last week into the public, but the developers have been working on this for years. But the new CSound 7, I think, is going to be released in September at the beginning of the academic year. And yet, anything in CSound 7, even these very new ways of designing instruments, still all the original CSound compositions and instruments run from the 70s and on. So it has a, kind of, I like to describe it as future-proof, but who knows? It may not be eternally future-proof, but all of us working on CSound have tried to make sure we don't throw out anyone's work.
Wow, that's
Their
amazing.
work still runs. Yeah.
Yeah, that's truly amazing. Like how CSound composition from like the 90s, 80s, and still working on the latest version of CSound. Yeah, that's like we cannot wait for like CSound 7 to be released.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Although I'm happy about this, but I'm sad about this because it's even me having to like relearn a lot too, because the new ways are so much cooler and so much clearer. But I'm so used to coding my instruments or designing my sounds or pieces with a kind of classic C sound. And now it's like, oh, well, now I can use functional syntax and I can declare my variables within a line and I can do like almost like inline coding. And so there's just so many more almost elegant ways of writing and designing. And I'm almost back at square one in some ways, so I'm happy, but I am starting to really get comfortable with even the new style. But the good news is the old style still works exactly the same. And so we're also, even for old timers like me, still supporting, if I wanted, I could keep composing and designing my instruments exactly that same way. But as a teacher, and I am still teaching CSound. I'm starting to teach CSound to even younger students, high school students now, really brilliant high school students. And, I feel obliged kind of to show them the new way. You know what I mean? I feel like, well, here, let's take a look at my instrument I designed when I was your age. No, I feel like, okay, let's, and so it means I got homework to do and maybe a new book to write too, or my revised CSound book might,
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. New version of the CSound book.
Of learning to really thrive and intuit and hit home runs in the new style. So maybe that's good for my aging mind. So we'll see. But
new version of the CSound book, or like a new chapter.
Yeah. Well, yeah, a new chapter that's just free and online, but maybe we'll put that chapter into our metaverse book and world that both Strongbear and I are planning. So we're getting to that, and I'm not sure exactly when we'll really start the work on it, but everything that we're building and giving away to all of you is really so that I can create an environment in which to teach composition. Essentially the theme of today. I'd love you to be able to not just listen to my pieces and maybe even listen to me talk about my pieces, but I'd love you to be involved in realizing my pieces, like practicing or performing them, but playing them with me, and even remixing or playing your own versions of them. And so and even sharing your own versions. And so that's what we're really creating here in CsoundMeta, is a world, or a framework in which you can learn creatively. That you can learn and express your learning, and and that's what we do. That's what artists do all the time, right?
Right.
So it's a kind of artistic apprenticeship in this within CsoundMeta. And so that's what's coming. That's what's coming, is these really interesting composition lessons that Strongbear and I are planning together in the meta, in CsoundMeta. And so all these new little features that we're talking about, even today I'm talking about, and I'm teasing you add your samples, or you add your skyboxes, or you add your CSDs. Well, those are all going to allow you to study with me, play with me, and then hear me do a breakdown of what's going on and why, the thought process, the creative process, either in a sound design level or in a composition level, structural level. And then you're going to be able to just spin off your own worlds based on maybe if that inspired you, which I always hope it does. So it's coming soon.
Cool. So should we do a little jam, or should we?
That might be nice. Why don't we see if our system's working, and do a little bit of a jam, and then we'll get into a little bit of a demo, and then we'll get into that little bit of a tutorial on, and by that demo I mean a palette demo and palette building, kind of tutorial, and then we'll get into a little composition tutorial demo as well. Okay?
Right.
So good. So I guess what you want me to do is share, and you want me to share the casting screen, and you want me to put on my headset and kind of look at you, and make sure our audio is on. I think it is. And here are my controllers. I'll bring up an object in front of me and see if I can hear it. Do you hear that?
No, not yet.
Okay. It is making little blippy sounds, but I don't know if it's making them for you or not. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it doesn't come through, but I like okay.
Are you hearing it now?
No.
What about now?
I think what we could do is like I'll share my sound to the audience.
Okay. Well, you know what I can do is just stop casting and start casting again, because we did have it working nicely a moment ago, and I just left it running, and maybe it kind of got tired. So I'm stopping casting, and I'm going to MetaQuest Developer Hub and starting casting again. And I'm going to turn audio on. What about now? I think it's working now.
Yeah, I think so.
Good. Yeah. Now.
So we have one of our team member, Designveloper, has joined us. Sun, welcome, Sun. Do you hear any sound? Yeah, Dr.B, could you make create classic that have obvious audio, like a drum track or something that's more obvious.
Okay, well, that one is pretty percussive, but
Because I wasn't like, I'm not sure whether it's coming from your mic or actually come from like audio sharing.
okay. Yeah, I was hearing it coming out of my PA. So hold on. Yeah, I'm hearing it from the PA right now, but let me. Yes?
No, I guess what we could do is like sharing this audio from my headset.
You don't think it's coming through to you?
No.
Okay, hold on. I hear it coming through the speakers when I unmute. So let me go over to loopback. Hang on. And it's definitely coming through the cast to you. How about now?
No, they're not.
Oh, wow. Well, let's look here.
But I mean, like sharing the sound from my my headset is should be fine. Like it's like at a different different point of view.
Okay, if you want.
Yeah. So yeah, the audience should hear the audio fine now.
Okay.
Okay. So why don't you?
Are you here?
Yeah. Why don't you share your screen? You.
Oh, it isn't sharing the screen. Oh, that might be our problem. Maybe I unshared the screen. So it's sharing the audio, but I unshared the screen. That's what happened. I think you're going to hear me in a second. And what do you think now? Are you hearing from me now?
No.
Okay, hold on. Now? Well, are we hearing through you at least? Because I'm showing audio.
Yep. People are hearing from me.
Okay, is that okay with you?
Yeah, I think so. It'd be okay.
Yeah, I do see my casting is not. Let me try one more trick here. Let me say casting, delete it, and then add casting right here. And it looks like it's still not doing it. Hold on. Well, as long as they can hear through you, I think they're good.
Yeah.
Okay. So, now are they seeing the Greek temple and everything? Am I on the right screen for that?
Could you say that again?
Okay, hold on. No. I think we're good. I think you're seeing the cast, and I'm just so sad that you're not. There we go. What about now? Okay, good. So, back to you. Let's improvise a little bit.
Yeah. I'm sharing both of my view and your view. The sound's coming from my headset right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So everything should be working fine, except if you wanna sing or like do vocal processing.
I won't be singing. That's a good point. I'm going to change our world, and I'm going to tell the worlds to change every maybe 33 seconds. And we'll start in Vienna.
Oh.
Okay? And I'm also going to check out my room here and walk away from you so that we're separated in the room. Here's my studio, everyone. And I'm all set up for webcasting over here now, so that's why it's looking a little different, a little more cluttered. But here we go. So let's, I'm going to go to a movement, and you can see that. And I'm going to pick, I'm going to pick Silence Pass for a minute right now. So this will turn everyone off. I've selected this movement. It turns off all the objects and actually goes to like a pass-through mode. And so let's just pick this jam that I set up for the ICMC. So there's a groovy percussive instrument here by Ian McCurdy. And strongbear, as you see, has connected patch chords to this chord object, so he's able to do with his patch chords crescendos and the like. And that's what you're seeing him do. I'll make the drums a little softer. And I'll, in fact, just throw them around so they'll spatialize and do audio from all over.
Yeah, and similarly, I could turn this orb into 100, throw it away, but I can still throw it from the distance.
Nice. And he's still controlling it, because normally when we make a sound or play a sound, you strike it or sweep through it with the mallets. But when you're connected with a patch chord, you can even control sounds that are flying above you or all around you. And so, you know, that's kind of a nice feature. When you want a sound to get louder, you grip it with these inner grips and stretch it out, and then strike through it to hear it. Oh, hear that crunchy? Right? And I'm just panning it around me by holding onto it with my grip and swinging it back and forth while it's crunching. It's a little loud. I'll make it a little softer by using my grips. So you see what I did? I just kind of faded it out a little bit. Now it's soft. Now what's this out here? Oh, this is Ian's chord player. It's a generative instrument that's playing the harmonies for us. Right? Oh. And even now, if some of you remember, I could push X and Y on my left hand and just randomly have a new orb show up. Here's teal, and it's going to be a re-triggerable low thematic sound. Let's see if that's true. I'm not hearing anything. Oh, there it is. Maybe. I don't hear. There he is, but he's very soft. I would say that was a bad choice. So I just deleted it, and now I'm going to make another random sound appear. Here's a demolition kind of room. There it is. You're hearing a little turbulence, right? but I'm not loving that one either. So I'm going to just point at it and push down my right joystick and have it erase. Matter of fact, I'm going to get rid of those drums now. Boom. And in fact, I might like to not randomly pick an instrument, but I might like to bring up a menu, go to Instruments, and pick an instrument by name. So now here's our whole instrument library, and we've got, you know, some sounds that I could pick, these orbs, sound selection, right? So I'm going to pick one of these F looper category, and I'm going to pick maybe gamelan. And now I don't hear anything because you see it's silver. So I need to use my grips, which I'm looking at right now. I need to stretch it out. There it is.
Nice.
I'll close the selection. And here we are in this other beautiful world. We're down in these sand dunes, these caves. We've discovered an ancient temple of some sort. Now, you know what might be fun is with this gamelan that's kind of making a racket. Wouldn't it be nice to hook up an effect to this? Some kind of echo or a flange or something. So I'm going to look in my menu. I'm going to go to my instruments. I'm going to do a live effect. So I've pointed at it and I've used the pistol trigger to select. Boom. So there it is. Up comes the live effects. And so here's a pitch shifting reverberator. That could be cool. But I'm thinking I want something with echo resin verb. Let's try that. So I'm going to pick shift low high verb as a preset from the selections. I'm going to open it up. And now I'm going to connect the output to the input. And so now this gamelan is, well, it's being crazily shimmered and echoed and pitch shifted. All right?
What I like about this gamelan is like when we morph it, changing the shape of like
Nice. We have had some users put on the headsets and be very frightened of the height issue. Because as you see, I'm kind of floating above the mountains here.
yeah.
And so you have to warn young students and friends and relatives, whatever, hey, why don't you sit down first and then start practicing with me? So I always have everyone sit in the beginning to play with me because I'm always a little afraid that they will, fall or get, frightened by some of the heights of some of these beautiful.
This is a beautiful place to be in, like both.
Yeah. It's gorgeous. These skyboxes are something.
Now we down to earth, like not actually like brow, but is it underwater or something?
I think we really are underwater, but I'm not sure because it looks to me like this window that I'm looking at now is either, I guess it's still holding. So I think we're supposed to be underwater in some kind of underwater habitat. It's a really, really beautiful space. I definitely, when I designed it, or I didn't design it, the AI did, but I said underwater habitat. Um, and I then said, but wait, no submarines and no frogmen and no weird creatures and no aliens. Although that red light over there always makes me think it might be some kind of alien. I don't know. Up there, too.
Yeah.
There. I don't know. Maybe people having coffee up there. I don't know. Or aliens having coffee up
Guardian.
And then I also had it redesign the same space, but years later or after some Holocaust. And so, as you see now, things are a little more destroyed and blown apart. And so, a way of telling a compositional story might be to create a series of spaces that, show the place over time. And you can tell the AI to do that. Hey, I like what you're doing.
Yeah, it's pretty fit with the with what we're seeing.
All of the sounds that you're hearing are C sound, and they're made with C sound, and they're being rendered live. We're not playing samples. That instrument, Blue, I designed in 1979. I never heard it make that sound, but until Strongbear hooked it up to this kind of a controller. I've never heard that sound come out of Blue. But, I designed Blue in the summer of '79 in the MIT Experimental Music Studio. There wasn't even a media lab yet. Everyone knows the MIT Media Lab. That building had not been built. And this was designed in a little laboratory in another building. And I've never heard it sound like that.
Blue was used in our very first prototype.
Yes, yeah. I've had one of my students too, who's now on the faculty at Berkeley. They were such a phenomenal student, but Claire Marie Lim. And Claire is also known as Doll Trick. She's quite a famous performer and, fantastic songwriter. And Claire, I think when she was still at Berkeley, went to the Audio Engineering Society, and they had a sound, production competition. And she won with like this piece that she had composed, because she's great. But she did sprinkle a little blue into it. And so she's such a wonderful person. It was like, well, I had a little C sound magic in there, Dr. B. And I said, oh, yes, right on. And so I do always think it is the secret sauce, And so I like to think of these sound worlds that, Strongbear has helped me play with. This was always a dream of mine, that as I was making these sounds, that you'd be able to touch them and twist them and play with them and shape them, and move through them. And that's what's possible now because of C-Sound and the metaverse. So much fun. Oh, and by the way, Strongbear has made it now that you can layer sounds. So let me show you that. Now you're hearing that nice rumbling, and you hear this nice wave from me. But I can put them on top of each other, and Strongbear can now make a wavy boner or whatever, right? And he could add a thuddy blue and mix all three of those as he sweeps through.
And use a big mallet to morph them all.
Nice. And that's important. You notice that the heads of Strongbear's mallets are now quite large. So we have the ability, when I hold like the X button and use the joystick on the right hand, that can change the size of the right hand mallet. And when I hold the A button and use the joystick on the left hand, I can change the size of that mallet. And bigger mallets have a bigger effect, right? And smaller mallets have a more precise and a kind of carving-like effect, right?
Right.
And you can decide to, have them be whatever size you might like. Well, I'm gonna pretty great, huh?
Yeah.
I'll unmix them. And here, because I've connected a patch cord to this low wave sound, I can have it a mile away and be using my A button to trigger it. And so you hear the wave way up there in the clouds. By the way, we're on some kind of a research facility now in, I don't know where.
Okay.
Or an old laboratory here. An outpost of some sort. And so here, strongbear has connected this blue to this, wave set resonator and reverberator. And now you're hearing the effect glitch, the breathing sound in a way.
Interesting.
I'll focus on it a bit. So what strongbear is doing is playing the effect and not playing the source, right? And he's about to chain effects together. So now the delay is processing the glitch with a little echo and reverb, all from this low rumble. I stole this delay, sorry. I'll give you back your delay. Ooh, so this is a granular reverb. So it's a reverb, but you hear the graininess, the grunge. And by the way, when we pick a sound from the sound library, an instrument, an orb, from the list, like bell tree, well, it's not one sound. It's a complete synthesizer. I'm calling it bell tree because of the little bell-like sound that I saved. But this instrument, can have all kinds of settings. And so, if I open the sound settings, look, I can control its duration, its transposition. So, right? So it's each of these kind of instruments has a range of controls, and I can even add more to them. Some have many more than this. Oh, listen to that. So let's make the duration longer. Let's make the volume much louder. That was that high little bell from a minute ago. I might save this now as more like church bell. And so I can say, give it a name. Looks to me like strongbear is getting ready to teach you about palettes. So strongbear, I'm going to get out of your way and let you, even if you want, I can give you a fresh start and you could do a little palette demo. What do you think? I'm going to say stop. I'm going back to pass-through mode. everyone's disappearing now. And so if you wanted, you could, pick a sound, create a sound, and make a palette and show them what that's all about. Shall I put up a black screen or some kind of world for you, or what do
in
you
my
think?
my computer, everything, and I'm working
Okay.
out right here, and ideally like playing with virtual world, but also like have a or other here. There's some mixing the book. Let's say I have this in. I open up the like the sound and those are sound. I have this stuff out here. Maybe that's really in later on I could select it everything. So okay. The sound of blue. Now gonna put it into palette. Blue palette. Okay. Press as every voice exert. Now we have our blue palette. Right? I have this now playing. I can start like add more. After that's a low room. I'm gonna add it palette. Or maybe like pick it first. Or then also that now we have a palette. Low room first higher season. I'm gonna use this palette. Now as you can like around this inch have three small header satellite around orbs like them and highlight it. Aim up it like that. I can another one by point trigger just name object menu. First, point at the like the pills to select the sound, but let's say far away. Quickly switching at press both right. Pointing, pressing it will be highlighted. The preset could be selected randomly. Check here. Cycle
Sequentially, yep.
back to one. Add to randomize. It's hard to tell because you have only, but as you can see, out of. So let's say we have this palette, but we more to it. Here. Gamelan. Add to preset. Fire.
It's a really kind of
That's
slow burning.
the build up.
Yeah. Now, but what I like that you've done, Strongbear, is couldn't you clone this palette now, and then you and I could jam with the same palette and really have the same repertoire of sounds, right?
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm gonna do now is like instead of like saving it, save it at and it fill with the name palette copy. Maybe bit of the new name like extend. Anyway, okay, so let's.
Yeah.
Oh, so we have to listen here under it.
So if we wanted, you're saying you could bring one up and you could bring up the other one for me.
Yeah. I have another object here and it's randomly picked fill, but I don't want to pick any sound outside from the palette. I assign it palette to it. But blue palette. Use the have 3
Yeah,
choose from.
yeah. Beautiful. That's a nice palette demo. So if we close now and you and I just continued our improvisation, I could bring up a world like this black screen. I'll get out of your way again, or let me walk over somewhere in my studio so we're separated. Boom. And let me tell it to pick a world like Waves and Thunder or London. So here we are in these London subways, and we now both have these palettes that are going to allow us to structure our improvisation in some way. Seems like this guy has, like you said, 3 pills, and this guy has like 5 pills, but many of the sounds we have in common, which is kind of nice. And by pointing at the palette, I can have it randomly bring up the next part of it. And you have yours there too with the high sizzle or whatever. And so we're starting to get to structuring the improvisation now by sort of limiting the set.
We could clone instrument. Also clone the palette.
We've cloned the palette. Yeah.
Have 2 but like related sounds.
Oh, beautiful. That's right. But all from the same palette. So again, compositionally, that can be really, I think, musical. So I could, and again, we have an option here to say clone. So now I've cloned my palette, so I can have gamelan 1, in 2 sticks. Or I can tell this guy, I want you to shift to glistening and gamelan. Right? And I can be, playing, right? And I can point at it and shift to the next in the palette group. And the next in the palette group, low rumble. And it's a way of making even continuity in your sound design and in your sound journey, right? Because
Exactly.
I can say, well, I want to keep gamelan going, but I want to start getting into low rumble. And now that I'm in low rumble, I can probably even, switch gamelan to higher sizzle, and I've kept the kind of continuity in terms of the sound journey that we're on, and made a really nice smooth transition because of structuring the palettes the way we did.
Exactly.
Yeah, nice.
That's like a palette, like level 1 of organizing sound.
Right. And even now, I'm able, as the host, by holding down my Y button and using my joystick to make everyone fade out a little bit or fade in a little bit. And so even here, we have controls for the host. And as you see, all the controls can appear in front of you, or you even have an option to say, hide the controls, right? And so shortcut keys are now gone. So in some cases in a performance, when I've been practicing a lot and I remember all my controls, I can hide them so that the audience isn't seeing them or that I'm not seeing them, and they make for an even more permanent, or more, let's say, performance-ready view. Audience-friendly view is what I was thinking. Oh, that's pretty. Wow. This blue is surprising me. Have you been editing blue? I think you have. Wow. Wow. So, what we might do is take a minute and see if anyone who's watching has any questions or thoughts or suggestions. So I'm going to go to composition and I'm going to say stop. Now everything will fade out and go away. And we might just see if anyone watching has any questions or thoughts. And then if not, we might then go on and just talk a little about the timeline. What do you think?
That's good.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
So
I don't know if you can hear me.
We have David down
thanks,
joining us.
David.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
I saw your composition. CsoundMeta. That's great.
Oh, thank you. I'm just getting acquainted. But I like the palette thing. So if you clone an instrument, you keep the same palette. Is that how it works?
Yeah, exactly. That's
If you clone a palette, there's a palette, if there's an instrument that has a palette, when you clone it, you've cloned the palette. Absolutely.
Okay. And then you can either randomize the patches or step through them, right?
right.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
Sounds good.
like, I mean, you could clone the palette, like using the save as, or you could clone the instrument that has the palette attached to them.
I see. You just point and hit A, B to switch through the presets, right?
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah,
Yeah. And either it will switch, like we said, sequentially around the moon, if you will, or around the sun, or randomly choose from the the orbiting satellites. Yeah.
Oh, there's one more feature we forgot to show is like the ability to rearrange the order of the presets in the palette. Yeah,
You do that.
because that way, when you go like sequentially through the list, be in the order that you design.
That would be good for an improvisation where you want to have specific things, right?
Right.
Right. Yep. Yeah. So that's, and I was wondering if I remembered we talked about it. I was wondering if it was there or still there, or I was dreaming about it or what. So,
Yeah, it's still there. Should we go through it quickly?
if you want, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Mine froze for a while here.
Oh, like you mean your headset?
On the Zoom. So I'm on a wired system. I'm going to switch to Wi-Fi and see if that goes faster, maybe.
Okay.
Well,
Uh,
Guys,
should we maybe we hold off a little bit for David to do that, and then when you're ready, we could show you like how we arrange the preset in the palette.
sounds good.
Yeah.
your wire should be faster than wired. We need to use wireless when I'm hosting in a room with everyone in the same room. They all need to be on the same wireless network. But from your house, you should be able to join us on your wire and get your fastest speed to the internet. But maybe not. Yeah, and you just have to make sure, I guess you have to be wireless, David, so that your headset will talk to the internet in your home.
Okay.
Yeah, so you have to join a Wi-Fi network from the headset.
Okay.
So even if a wire is plugged in for casting, you still have to be on a wireless network. So I'm running wirelessly now, even though it's faster when I have a wire connected to my laptop, but then my Quest won't talk to the laptop.
Yeah, I've been teaching on Zoom for the last 4 weeks, so if I don't go wired,
Yeah, exactly. Me too. And so I got caught up with that the other day. So I'm saying, why isn't my headset working?
let me zing out and come back. Is the address still 172.22.22 or?
No, it's 172.22.222.
Okay. but I'll be back to the Zoom.
Good.
Right. Yeah. And like, if Dev is watching through Zoom, then I guess it's better for Dr.B to share your screen and then do the demo while I walk you through the step, just like the last time, because the
That's right. You would be sharing with my session.
yeah, because my audio won't be shared through Zoom.
Okay. So let's see if we can solve that Zoom audio issue anyway a little bit. I'm sharing now. I'm sharing computer sound, which says it's off. Now it's on. I'm going to put an orb up to just see if you hear it. I don't know. I'm not hearing anything right there. So let's get rid of that one. Let's try another.
And check your master volume as
That's what I'm doing now. I'm bringing it back up.
oh, it's working.
Yeah, good. Good.
But actually it's working because like I'm sharing my audio. As soon as I turn off my audio, it's gone.
Oh, nice.
Probably coming through your PAs.
Yep, it's coming through my PA for sure. I like that because it got to percolate because I dropped it on your mallet.
Oh yeah, I like that too. Leverage other people to mallets to make the sound.
Funny, huh?
Yeah,
We're
like
discovering all kinds of things about the system.
that's one way to trigger it from a distance.
Yeah, that's right. Make sure you're dropping on someone else, right?
Right.
That's a good point. Funny. That's a nice shape.
Yeah, that's its original shape.
We'll let him float around. David's here now.
Yeah, I made it, I think.
Yeah, I see. You're here. Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Here, I'll hand you a sound to play.
You're right on top of me. I'm right on top of you. I'm gonna
Yeah,
move.
you guys are, well, yeah. Here's a sound. Oh, here's a sound. I'll get rid of that one. It's not very good. Nice.
Let's go over how do we arrange the
Okay. I'm ready. So I'm going to choose sound palette. I'm going to design a new palette. I'm going to give it a name. Oh, get out of the way. I'm going to give it a name. And that name is going to be called Chord Palette. Chord Pal. Okay, so there's its name. And now you're saying I might want to use the palette.
Maybe you might want to do because exact same. Edit it.
Okay, I see it. I see him going through the sounds.
Chord Pal. There it is. And now we can add presets to it, right? It added rust. I can pick another sound, you're saying, and add that. Fireworks. I'm having trouble adding this to the palette. What should I do? Oh, go to Chord Pal first and see if I
Yeah.
can get there. There we go. I did it. Yeah, I got it. So now this palette has rust and fire or fireworks. Good. And you're saying I could use the palette. And so now the palette has fireworks and, mid-breath as its two choices.
Right.
Right? And you want me to maybe add one more sound, right?
Yeah, maybe add one more, like we could change the order of them.
Okay, I'll add one of these drums. Kick sticks, fast gurgle, this bubbly thing, okay? So now what you're saying is I go palette, I say use the palette.
Yeah.
Hold on. Pick Chord Pal, use Chord Pal, add the preset. Oh, it slipped away from me there. I lost it. Mid-breath is part of that palette already. So let's try picking a sound again. So I'm going to go to orb. I'm going to go to drum. I'm going to go to kick high fast. Okay. So you're telling me now that I have kick high fast, I should say palette. I should say pick the palette to be on, like that one.
Yeah.
And I should add this preset to it, which I've done.
Right.
And I don't need to save it again. I just close, right?
Yeah, it's already saved.
Yeah. So I'm using it now. So the palette should have the three sounds associated with it.
Right. To edit it, the sounds order, then yeah, in the palette menu, you see like a kind of little icon look like a chart.
Okay, so I'm going to do that. 1 second. I'm going to get rid of everything else from the room here. So we're just looking at the palette. I'm looking here. And I see there's fireworks. I see there's this mid-breath. And I see there's kicking high fast, this little gurgly thing. Okay, so now you're saying if I go to the palette,
Yeah.
which I have just done, I see I've got these little kind of hamburger menu here.
Right.
So you're saying I could do that and say, I want this to be
Set a new position for it,
position.
right? And enter a number between like 1 and 3.
So I said 1.
Yeah.
So submit.
The drum was
Kick high fast. It was 3 and now it's 1.
exactly
Rust is number 2. I'm going to say I want rust to be number 3.
right.
So enter position. I'm going to say 3. I didn't remember about this at all. Good. Submit.
Yeah.
So now we've got drums, fire, rust.
Yeah.
So I can say, do I need to save again? I don't think so.
No, it's already saved.
Good. So now I'm closing. And so now what you're saying is I've got the palette up. And if I just use A and B, it will go in that order. So
Yeah, and make sure the randomize is turned off.
it's not set. Yeah, let's do that. I think
Yeah.
randomize is off.
So turn off randomize and
It's off. So now I have fireworks, followed by breath, followed by kick. Fireworks, breath, kick. Nice.
yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Could you open the palette again? There's a edit button next to the like the order button. I forget like what is for.
This thing here?
Yeah, yeah.
No, that's to rename or replace or something like that. Like always that was a rename.
Oh, so we could rename the like the sound in the palette.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Well, then I'm happy because I'm forgetting a few things. So I'm kind of glad that you're forgetting a few little things too. Yeah, so I could call this fire, or I could call it explosions now. Explode or gunfire. Better than that. I'll call it gunfire. Gunshot.
I didn't quite get how you reordered the sounds within the
I'll
palette.
show it to you again in a minute.
Okay.
Can you see the screen here?
I'm seeing it.
Can you see the menu? Okay, so it's these guys here. So you've got the name.
So the problem is like David is wearing the headset and like I don't think David could see those icons just like you, because only the person who's editing the palette will see it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Seeing it in the virtual reality, basically.
Yeah, in the virtual reality, you won't see what Dr.B is seeing.
Oh, I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
You see the trash can at the very end, the barrel.
I don't see that.
Do you see the pencil and paper?
No, I better look at the other screen.
Yes.
Yeah. So David, if you open like the palette that you created, like your own, then you could edit it. You could rearrange the order. But like if you open someone else's palette, you cannot edit it. But you could save as, give it a name so that it's yours.
Save as. Yeah. Take mine, do a save as. So select the palette, go to chord palette, whatever I called it, say save as, give it your name, and then you'll be able to see those icons.
Okay.
So palette is the second thing. You'll pull it up. I called it chord pal. In fact, I'd like to rename this palette demo or something, demo pal. Because there's no chords in there anymore, right? So it's now called Demo Pal. So if you go to that under CSound Dr.B and say Save As, then you'll be able to see the those icons that I was describing. I can see them because I'm editing. And it's because I created them.
I see.
Yeah, so now you'll see to the right of each of these names the kind of order icon, reorder icon, the rename icon, and the delete icon.
Okay. That's where you do it. Huh?
Yeah, that's where you do it.
I wasn't seeing that in the other.
Now we know, yeah, because you won't see it because you didn't create them. And that's a way of preventing other users in the community from erasing your work, right? You know, if you spent, as we just saw, I started setting up this palette and I was making some mistakes. So then I finally got it right. And the last thing I would want is strongbear to come in and, oh, wait, I changed that. I deleted that. I moved that around and be like, oh, I was making a piece. Oh, no. And I will tell you a little story. My son Adam, who's now almost 40, was, maybe 1 or 2. My colleague had loaned me a synthesizer that he got that had a sequencer, one of these JX3P Rolands, had a little mini sequencer, and you'd actually back it up on cassette tape. I actually have that synthesizer right over here on the rack because my great friend Lee gave it to me. So it's sitting there on shelf number 4. And but I had it in my small apartment on the table beside the bed, and I had composed this really neat little sequence of chords that looped, and it made you melt. I was so excited. And of course, my baby came over. My baby Adam wandered over. He's so proud of himself. He walks and he touches the keyboard because he sees me playing the keyboard. And then he pushes the erase button. And it was like, oh no. I never was able to recreate that moment. So it probably isn't half as beautiful as I remember. But it was like, oh no, I was working on that. Gone. So we've tried to prevent that in this design, but I'm sure that I've stepped on some things that strongbear was working on and vice versa. So, I don't know if we will show timeline today because we have had fun with palette, and I'd almost like to start making these meetings a little shorter, like an hour and a half long, but maybe we'll just answer a few more questions and then, terminate the meeting a little early, this thing, and, plan on coming back in 2 weeks or whatever. But how does that sound? Okay. So, so what we'll do is we'll come back and show timeline and talk more about composing on the timeline in our next meeting. But even what we just learned about the palettes, and both with strongbear and I both kind of remembering things, right? That we had forgotten a little bit, which is kind of cool. And but also, the idea that we were showing, if we wanted to say that today had a composition focus, and I love that David is starting to compose and also sharing ideas as a composer. By the way, for those of you who are watching, David, I hope you were here when I told that I found Barry Vercoe's handout of our class in 1979 with all our mailing addresses.
Wow.
And you're on there. And also, you remember you were asking me, what's the name of that composer? He was my roommate from New Zealand or whatever. So I've got all of their names too. I'll send you a copy, okay? But the thing is that we did learn today a little bit of how to even use palettes to structure maybe an improvisation by creating satellites that either relate or complement, by cloning them so that you even have 2 or 3 of the same palette in front of you, but in some cases you're layering this chords while you're then queuing up the other one to do a more melodic sound and then changing the chords to more melodic and queuing. So there's a way of walking through these sequences of presets, if you will, on a set of cloned palettes that could really be very musical and very effective. And so I'm thinking we're on to something there in terms of structured composition, just in palette mode. strongbear, and I think, you just in the last minute there saying, if you clone it, that inspired me to think, oh, that would make a lot more musical sense. It wasn't like, here's a cool palette and here's a cool palette, because they still don't exactly complement each other. But if I've made the same palette, maybe if it even has 12 satellites, and I've made some with that many, but now you clone 6 or 7 of them, call it a movement, and now, boom, you're bringing up 5 palettes. They're all the same. And yet they're all these kind of families of derivative patches and evolved. And so I could imagine really structuring a nice composition that way. And I must, because as you know, I'm headed to Krakow, Poland to premiere some new works in November. And I will be doing a CsoundMeta workshop. I'll be playing C-Sound in the metaverse. And it'd be nice to have something else. And so maybe that's a way of really structuring an improvisation with these palette groups. And yeah, I think that's the way, without having to write a longer composition, but a structured improvisation. And still it could be on the timeline later, because what I could do is call it PAL movement 1, PAL move 2, PAL move 3, PAL move 4. And then you could imagine that it has 3 or 4 of the same palette groups. And then on the timeline, I say go from PAL move 1 to PAL move 2 to PAL move 3, back to PAL move 2, back to PAL move 1, and have these different, landscapes appearing. And that would make an interesting jam.
Yeah.
That was structured even better than most of my jam sessions are now. My jams now are, hey, these 7 sounds go good. Let's pick that one. But then it doesn't lead to the next step. So the pieces they don't sit. But the jam sessions I've been making now have been, oh, that's fun. Let's go with that feeling. But they're not telling a story. And so I think a sequence of palettes like this could tell a really interesting kind of jam experience. So next time, tune in.
Yeah, it's great to revisit the palette and realize that like you and I both forget like something about it.
Hey, now, we didn't have to bring that up again, did we? People can rewind the tape, but I'm hoping they don't. Well, here's the worst part. It makes me feel just terrible when I've forgotten something like that. Because, Strongbear has probably not slept for 5 days, and we're getting ready for a premiere, and I'm saying, if only you allowed me to change the order in the preset, Strongbear, that'd be great. And now he's coding all night through the night to add that feature, and yet we've both forgotten it now. And it's like, oh, I beat you up to get that, and then I never even remember. So that is the problem when you're writing software with someone who has so many ideas and gets so inspired. It's like, Strongbear, if you add this and we add that. I think, what were you telling me? How long's the list of the things I've asked for in CsoundMeta? What's the action items? Or
Yeah.
How many items are still on that list?
Like probably like at least 100.
Oh no. You know what we need to do, David, right? Clone Strongbear. There we go. So we need to figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
Twice as many features.
Yeah.
Well, I'll try to put something together for next time.
That would be nice. Our plan is to come back again like every couple of weeks now. So this time in there and that would be fun, David, to play one of your pieces or start to explore it. That would be a blast.
Okay. Well, I'll see what I can do. I got 1 more week of class, so
there you go.
I'm off. So.
I've got. I think I have 2 more. I still have 2 more weeks to where we're doing my showcases. And my Berkeley students, I only am doing thesis students this summer. So, pretty amazing work. A couple of amazing. One of my students designed this incredible new synthesis algorithm inspired by the electromagnetic inverter on electric trains and subways. And he's come up with this new kind of synthesis technique based on that, where he was using magnetic microphones to store the wave. I mean, you wouldn't believe this thing. And it's a pretty interesting synthesizer. It's a kind of almost like a derivative of phase modulation synthesis, but it's not. And it's all based on the actual internal mechanics of the electric motors in the electric train system.
Huh.
It's incredible. And so he's pretty much finished it now. And his name is David Wang. And you got a bright future ahead of him, this young man.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, you should see. So, yeah. So that I'm really proud of that. I've got another student writing these amazing songs. He's from Bogota, and he's taking the class with me remotely from Bogota. So it's finishing up, and he starts at Northwestern in their new sound art program at Northwestern in September. So he's coming back to the States. And I think it's their first year that they're offering this new sound art technology and media program at Northwestern. So I'm really excited that they have him from Berkeley in that program. His name is Samuel. And, because he's going to do great. He's going to make them happy. He's going to make them look great. This guy is a dual major from Berkeley in music production and engineering and electronic production design. So he knows how to use a studio like nobody's business. He knows how to record like nobody's business that he got from MP&E. So he's got that talented ears. And then he also knows how to sound design and compose. And what a songwriter he is too. So he's got the whole package. So I'm pretty excited about where these two are going to thrive and land. So and they'll be showing off their project in our senior showcase on the 14th, I guess, of August that night. So I'm proud of what they've accomplished. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And sadly, I don't think either of them are using C-Sound. But they're still getting A's. A minus, maybe. Have they used? No. So, it's pretty exciting, and that'll be good. Now, how many classes are you teaching this summer, David?
Just one.
Oh, good.
Appreciation class. Just 5
Oh, nice.
We start at the end of August. We'll be back at it. And I think.
Well, David, tell me this. Now we're going off track, but I'm sorry. This is the extra bonus time. David, I want a list of your favorite pieces for piano and computer. Now, there's Rizet's Duet for One Pianist. There's Davidowski's Synchronism. There's the Jonathan Harvey pieces are amazing, but they have a lot of children's voices and other things. I'm looking for pieces that really process the piano, and I'm having senior moments because I know there are dozens I've loved over the years, even the one done with C-Sound, but I'm forgetting. Do you have a few favorite piano, and especially being a keyboard player yourself? Piano, I'm not a keyboard player, right? Piano and computer pieces. What are a few of your favorites?
Well, I just know what I see in the conferences these days. I like what Matthew Goodhart's doing. He does improvisations that are processed, and he's using like cymbals and gongs, and he likes those as well.
Yeah.
And there were several at the conference that I thought were really good. Offhand, I'll have to think about it and send you.
Good. Well, I'll let you think too. But I'm sort of hunting, and I'm coming up with things. But I have a young student who's quite a great pianist, and I'm wanting to make sure they're working with me now with C-Sound, and I'm wanting to make sure they also know the literature. They've been trained by virtuoso classical pianists, which means they haven't studied anything with electronics. And so I want this student to start to know they're getting ready for college and everything. I think this student is actually starting at Northwestern as well on piano. And I would like them to kind of start expanding their repertoire.
Right.
So if you think if a few come to you, let me know, and I would love the list. And you too, Strong Bear. Have you come across any pieces for piano and electronics that you remember from any of your classes or?
Not on the top of my head right now. Yeah.
Yeah, and the reason I even throw that question on you, David, is because if you're teaching a kind of appreciation class, maybe you drop a few of these. So that's why I was thinking possibly, you would be like, oh, coincidentally, last week I was showing them blah blah,
Well, we're lucky if we get through the 20th century, but I'm sure we will. Only one on the staff that gets that far. They all get stuck in the classical and romantic period.
Yeah, of course. Well, there's nothing wrong with that stuff at all. But and what's sad about it in some ways, huh, David, is we get beautiful exposure and appreciation through a mentor and teacher like you of these works. And then it's like that, there's that music and there's pop. It's like, because they never got to what happened starting in 1913 or 1900 or whatever. And so, it's like, so they missed the whole 20th century, like you said. And,
Well, Stravinsky and Henry Cowell with Banshee.
yeah, good.
Kind of things. And John Cage. And
Of course.
all that
Yeah.
stuff.
His prepared piano works are really phenomenal.
Minimalist, those guys.
Yep. Good.
Ligeti and other guy, Stockhausen, all that stuff.
Oh, good. Now you're going to fit that all into next week's class, you're saying?
3 more days.
Uh,
In the middle of the isms right now.
oh, good.
Impressionism, primitivism, and that sort of thing.
Good. Well, good luck, and and that will be wonderful. And I'm sure you've inspired some people, and their playlist has expanded now in a really nice way. So good for you, good for them, lucky for them.
Well, I look forward to our next meeting. I wasn't quite sure if it was happening today. I was out doing some yard work, but I made it in time. So.
I'm glad you tuned in and glad you were here. So thank you for joining us, David, today. And Strong Bear, do you have any kind of closing words or closing thoughts or anything? Or are there any other questions that have come up or anything like that you would want us to address?
Yeah, all great. I'm glad that David could make it. Because we made the announcements pretty late. No, we didn't expect anyone to join us, especially on Zoom. But having you is really I'm happy about it, and yeah, especially see your compositions started coming together in CsoundMeta, and probably in the future sessions we can have some movement or your composition so that we could play together. Yeah,
and play with you. Yeah. That's our hope. And that would be wonderful. Yeah. So hopefully your time will free up enough, David, for you to start doing that. That would be great.
Okay. Sounds
good.
All right.
Well, take care, everyone. And Strong Bear, I think this might be a good time to say goodbye.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think so. Yeah, cool.
Good. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Those of you who are now going to watch later today or the recordings, we always do put the recordings up online in our Discord channel. And so make sure you've joined that. There's a link in the announcements always to join the Discord channel. And any of you who have Quest 2, 3, 3S, or Pro headsets, we want to make sure you've got a copy of CsoundMeta on there. So we want to help you install that. You'll find instructions for that at the Discord channel, but also, come to a meeting and we'll take some time out and make sure your stuff is working so that you can join us like David has today and play with us and just appear, and we can appear in your studio and we can start collaborating to make sound art and sound cinema. So thank you for coming today. Thank you, StrongBear. Thank you for this amazing software and for really helping make my dream come true, even beyond my wildest dreams. So you've given even new life to my creative voice, and I'm so grateful to you for that. So thank you so much. And thank all of you for watching.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too.
Bye.